Hello and welcome to our software presentation at ICAME 2020. It is an unusual format, but actually a convenient one because you can simply stop this presentation in between and try out WordValue yourself. We will start by giving you a brief overview of the software and show you how to format files for use with it. Then we will show you the first steps with WordValue and a few example searches so that you can experience the batch search, the color coding, and that for the three categories of categorical, numerical, and ordinal values. So what is WordValue and what can you do with it? WordValue is a free web application that allows you to map values to words in context. WordValue lets you search a whole list of words at the same time, which means that you don't have to enter each individually, and the software also lets you color code your list words in the original context according to their characteristics. This means that you get a very quick impression of how words with similar qualities are distributed in a text relative to each other. You can use WordValue online at www.wordvalue.gwi.unimünchen.de. To use WordValue, you need specific files. For the batch search function, you need a text and a list of search items, and for the value mapping function, a text and a table with search items and their corresponding values. It is important that these files are formatted to specific conventions so that you can use them with WordValue. Let's start with the text. First of all, save your text corpus as a TXT file with UTF-8 encoding. To do this in Microsoft Word, simply go to Save As, and as a data type, select not Word document, but only text. Then go to the Tools drop-down menu, pick Web Options, then select the tab Encode, and here you have the option Save Document as Unicode UTF-8, and that's it for the text. Let us now continue with the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet needs to be saved as a comma-separated CSV file with UTF-8 encoding. In addition, there are a few basic formatting conventions that need to be taken into account. Please make sure that the list with your search items is in the first column of your spreadsheet. Your spreadsheet should have a header in the first line, and the header in the first line of the first column should be called keys in lowercase. The list with your keys must only contain unique items, which means if, for instance, you have the verb love and the noun love in your list, you need to get rid of one of them. To find duplicates in Excel, use the conditional formatting button. Select Highlight Cells Rules, then duplicate values, and then select a color to highlight double cells in your keys column. To remove duplicates automatically, select the tab Data, then click on the button Remove Duplicates and check only the column Keys. And now we have to go basically through the same steps as before. In Excel, go to Save As, and for the data type, instead of Excel spreadsheet, pick CSV file. Go to the Tools drop-down menu, pick Web Options, go to the tab called Encode, and there select the option Save Document as Unicode UTF-8, and that's it. However, if you're working with the German version of Excel, there's an additional step that you need to go through, and that is because that version uses semicolons instead of commas as separators in the CSV files. To remedy this, open your CSV file in a text editor like Notepad++ or the editor that comes automatically with Microsoft Windows. Automatically replace all semicolons with commas and then save your document.
Let's take a look at the web application. We are currently on the home page and not logged in. I can create an account by clicking on the register link on the right side of the navigation bar. Here I need to enter a username, supply an email address and a password. Since I already have an account, I will use the login page, also to be found on the right side of the navigation bar, where I need to enter the email address that I supplied while registering, as well as the password. After logging in, you will be redirected to the home page, where you are now able to do the following. Create a new experiment by uploading a text and CSV file, browse through your already uploaded experiments and view the corresponding text and CSV table, and most importantly, view results for your experiments. This includes a frequency analysis for the text and search keys you supplied, as well as the option to color code your keys.
Let us now look at a few examples to see how the software actually works. One very important function of WordValue is that you can search for a whole list of search items at the same time. A research question where this can be put to good use is whether there are more references to male or female characters in Lewis Carroll's book Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. The CSV file that you will see in the demonstration contains the pronouns and some names of characters from Lewis Carroll's book. All of these were coded for gender as male, female, and unmarked. The search is a batch search. For frequency, you will see a results table and the option of picking lemmatization and case sensitivity.
Let's begin by creating a new experiment. I will click on the new experiment link in the navigation bar, and on this page I first need to supply an experiment title. For now we are going to do the Alice experiment, so I will type in Alice. Then next I need to upload a CSV file. I have a CSV file prepared. And next I need to upload the text file. Also, I have this text file prepared here. When I've finished choosing the files and creating a title, I can click on Create Experiment. And as soon as the upload is done, I will be redirected to the experiment page where I can view the text file and the CSV file. I can also update my experiment, that is, change the title or the files, or I can also delete my experiment. Next, let's take a look at the My Experiment section, which you can access via the My Experiments link in the navigation bar. Here you have an overview over all the experiments you have uploaded so far. As we can see, I have only uploaded 2 experiments, and by clicking on one of the experiments, I will be redirected to the experiment page where I can take a look at the text and CSV files. Now that we have uploaded an experiment, we can go to the heart of our application, the Results section. You can access this section by clicking on the Results link in the navigation bar. Here you have several options to choose from. As a first option, you can select an experiment from the ones you have already uploaded. Here we will choose the Alice experiment. Please also note that the time required for the computation of your results directly depends on the size of your text and CSV files. Thus, for large files, this process may take a while. As soon as your results are ready, you can choose between different search options and output types. Here, your selected search options will have a direct impact on the output you see. Let's take a look at the frequency table to demonstrate this. This table shows the number of search matches found for each key supplied in your CSV. At the moment, we are in the Search the Keys as They Are mode. That is, the keys you have supplied via your CSV file are used exactly as they are to find matches in the text. Or in other words, White Rabbit starting with capital letters will not be matched to White Rabbit with lowercase letters. However, we can choose to ignore case by clicking on the Ignore Case checkbox. As we can see, The key frequencies in the result table will be automatically updated based on your selected search options. Finally, by clicking on the option Lemmatize, your keys will be matched against the lemmatized version of the text. That is, if you provide the word be as a key, it will also be matched with the words are or is in a text. To answer our research question regarding the distribution of male and female names and pronouns in Alice in Wonderland, we now simply need to look at our results table. As we can see from our lemmatized search, female pronouns, which were all mapped to the key she, are the most frequent of our search keys, whereas male pronouns, mapped to he, are far less frequent.
One of the most exciting functions of WordValue is probably that it allows you to color code the words in a text according to the values that they have in your keys list. An example research question that we can attempt to answer in this way is if William Wordsworth's poem Daffodils is characterized more by words of Germanic or of Romance origin. The CSV that you will see in the software demonstration is based on Adam Kilgariff's lemmatized frequency list for the British National Corpus. The CSV file contains the 2,500 most frequent lemmas minus duplicate lines with their lemma frequency, and also several manually coded features from Sanchez 2008, like the language of origin, coded as Germanic, Romance, both, and other, and the period of first attestation, coded as Old English, Middle English, and later. The text is William Wordsworth's poem Daffodils. You will see several color coding searches, firstly for the categorical variable language of origin, secondly for the numerical variable B&C frequency, and thirdly for the ordinal variable period of first attestation.
To demonstrate how we can color code our words in context, let us now switch to the next experiment, William Wordsworth's poem Daffodils. If we click on the checkbox to show the colored text, additional options will be available. First, we can choose the attribute for color coding from the columns of our CSV file. Next, there are 3 different modes to choose from, which will have an impact on the way in which you can color code your text: numerical, categorical, and ordinal. Let's start with numerical mode. For this, I have selected the attribute B&C frequency. In numerical mode, you can specify the start and end color of a color gradient, along which the unique values of the selected attribute will be mapped. In our example with the attribute B&C frequency, this means that keys with a high frequency will be mapped more towards the red end of the color gradient, while keys with a low frequency will be mapped more towards the blue end of the color gradient. By clicking on one of the color pickers below the gradient, we can edit the start or end color of the color gradient. Our color text will automatically update the colors, as was the case with the results table. To demonstrate categorical mode, let us now choose a different attribute, namely the language of origin, which we coded as atom language in our CSV. In categorical mode, WordValue gives you the option of directly specifying an individual color for each unique value of the selected attribute. In our case, we have 4 categories. Words of Germanic origin are coded as G, words of Romance origin as R, B stands for both, and O for other. By mapping these categories to colors that are in contrast to each other, like red and green, we can quickly get an intuition about the distribution of different languages of origin in a text. Let us now complete our color coding for the other categories. And we can see that the poem Daffodils by William Wordsworth is dominated by words of Germanic origin. To demonstrate the third mode, ordinal, let us choose yet another attribute, namely the period of first attestation, which we coded as atom age in our CSV. In ordinal mode, you can specify an ordering of your categories, which will be used to map these categories to the selected color gradient. This is especially interesting for attributes which have an inherent ordering, such as the ordering from small over medium to large, or, in our example, the period of first attestation. As you can see, the categories are automatically mapped in an ascending order. As such, words of older origin will be mapped to the left end of the color gradient, while newer words will be mapped more towards the right end of the gradient. As in numerical mode, you can also edit start and end color of the gradient. Additionally, you can also edit the ordering of your categories by selecting an order from a drop-down menu. This includes the possibility of mapping several categories to one and the same order. If we readjust the ordering to our liking, we can see from the resulting colored text that most of the words are colored in green, meaning that most of the words in this poem have an origin in Old English.
We hope that you enjoyed this introduction to WordValue and that you now want to work with the software yourselves. Should you have any questions, please take a look at the FAQ section on our website or simply contact us and write us an email.